Alright, so I finally get to do my Fate video on this channel, and I'm super hyped about it because, as a lot of you guys know, I'm a huge fan of the Fate series. It's one of my favorite shows out there, and it's honestly heavily downplayed, and it's not the fault of anybody watching the show. It's just that the anime does kind of a bad job of portraying how truly powerful a lot of these servants and characters are, and you really gotta start diving into like the light novels and the games to really start getting anything remotely impressive. That being said, there are two versions of Saber that I'm going to be covering today, the first of which is the quote-unquote anime version of Artoria, using the visual novels and the light novels to also back up how powerful she is, and the second version is going to be Artoria from the games, mainly Fate Extella. However, before we begin, I do have two things for you guys to peep, the first of which is the Discord linked in the description. If you guys have any issues with this video or any of my previous videos, feel free to hit up that link and come debate me on any of that stuff, or if you just want to come hang out, that's also pretty chill. Second of which, in the top right hand corner there should be a little eye icon where you can click on that to vote on the next Fate video. We're going to be covering the Archer class, where you have the options of Gilgamesh, Heroic Spirit, Emiya, Kairon, and Atalante, or Atalante, however you want to pronounce it. I'm pretty sure I know who's going to win this poll, but you know what, I'm open to being surprised. Now, anime Artoria is pretty easy to deduce how powerful she is because she does scale to Heracles, who is stated to be strong enough to bust mountains just by swinging. Like, that's just how strong he is. And Artoria, in a weakened state, was actually able to overpower this Heracles. She was in a weakened state. A lot of people do forget that when she has Shiro as her master, she is weaker because Shiro is completely incompetent as a mage, at least in the beginning of the series. Speed is also pretty easy to find because in the Strange Fake light novel, Heracles, who's an archer in that series, is stated to shoot arrows that surpass human limitations, which it's previously mentioned that like they move faster than lightning, and then now they're kind of bringing up light, and then they're talking about transcending human limitations, so you can honestly argue that his arrows are anywhere from like lightning speed to light speed, and Gilgamesh is able to casually just react to these arrows. Now this does come full circle back to Artoria because she's actually able to fight with Heracles, who's able to fight and react to Gilgamesh, so that means that Artoria would be anywhere from lightning speed to light speed. So now we're coming into the games, and things are about to get a little ridiculous because we have this thing called the White Titan in Fate Extella, and this thing, just by screaming, is able to like threaten the infinite universe that is Fate. It's stated that its screams travel across the infinite universe, and they are basically destroying everything that they come into contact with. So this thing, just by kind of like screeching a little bit, is threatening the entire universe, and Artoria actually does scale to the White Titan. And the game tries to make it abundantly clear that Artoria is at bare minimum capable of going toe-to-toe with the White Titan, if not being able to beat it outright. You see, Archimedes states that she fought it in the past, Altera says that she fought it in the past, even her Noble Phantasm description says that her sword Excalibur is at least on the same level as the sword that beat the White Titan in the past. But if you play Artoria's side story, she not only beats Tamamo no Mai, who in her own side story is easily capable of beating the White Titan. Well, I don't want to say easily because it does take a lot out of her, but I mean, she still does manage to beat it at the end of the day. But she also beats Gilgamesh in her storyline. Not just Gilgamesh, she beats Gilgamesh and Iskandar, who Iskandar on his own is stated to be like relative to like base Altera, like not the actual White Titan, but Gilgamesh actually confronts Altera in her story and pretty much goads her into going into the White Titan form so he can have somewhat of a challenge, because he's like, dude, Altera, you're completely fodder to me, go into the Titan form so I can at least have some amusement. And Artoria slaps Gilgamesh and Iskandar at the same time. So this not only means that Artoria would be on like a universal level of power, at least in attack potency, but she'd also be massively faster than light, like plus, because again, these screams are going across like the infinite void of space in like instances, and everyone's just like kind of casually reacting to these, being like, oh my goodness, this is so crazy. You know, Artoria is like a god compared to these people that are like, oh man, these screams they're kind of fast, they're kind of going all over the place. So dude, she's like ridiculously powerful, man. Moving on to Artoria's skills, they're very hit or miss. You have things like writing or charisma that are pretty useless in a 1v1 fight, because I mean, like, when is it gonna ever be like, oh, if you can drive this car you can win this fight? Like, I doubt that that's ever gonna be a situation that she needs to win the fight with. Or it's like, oh man, you need to be able to charm this entire army and you need to be able to lead them into battle so you can beat this other dude. Like, it's just like, they're not gonna be useful in really any versus scenario. Intuition is well, it's intuition, we'll leave it at that. Magic resistance is pretty useful because it's a built-in resistance to magic, although it's kind of hard to translate to other verses because Fate uses their magic resistance more along the lines of like, oh, the higher your magic resistance, the more lines they need to put in their chant. So it's kind of weird to translate that to other verses. Like, would you say that she's completely immune to like magic from Fairy Tail, where she just took reduced damage? So it's a little weird on that one, but it's still useful nonetheless. Like, I wouldn't throw it out completely. Prana Burst or Mana Burst, whichever one you want to call it, is pretty much along the same lines in that it's pretty useful because it allows Artoria to just do like short bursts of like highly condensed mana strikes. So it's pretty good in that, like, she can use it to overcome her opponents or like break through their guard or something, but it's nothing that's gonna be super game changing in a 1v1 match. So don't throw it out, you know, you keep it into consideration, but yeah, just don't overhype it. Her main Noble Phantasm Excalibur is again pretty much the same thing in that, like, it's a big meat stick. Like, she's just gonna swing it at people to do lots of damage. It doesn't have any like super amazing abilities that come with it. It's just a really strong sword that can shoot laser beams and do giant golden Getsugatenshos. Don't get me wrong, it's one of the strongest Noble Phantasms in the Fate series, but it's not like a Zanpakuto in Bleach where it's like, not only is it a strong sword, but it lets you summon death or whatever, I don't know. However, then there's Avalon, the scabbard for Excalibur, which is really Artoria's bread and butter in like a 1v1 versus battle, because this pretty much makes her like an unkillable, just absolute monster. Because as long as like her brain is intact, she will just regenerate. Unless you have something that like negates magic, or you have some like really weird reality warping ability, it's pretty much finite that she'll be able to regenerate and keep fighting as long as she possesses Avalon, which is why you'll notice in a lot of the series they take Avalon away from Artoria. They're like, oh, we're gonna put it in Shiro, or we're gonna give it to Irie. So it's pretty broken. It's very simple, and then it's like, oh, it just gives her really good regeneration, but it's dumb broken combined with her just being an absolute tank. But that's all that I have for you guys. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Next video should be on Hollybell. The one following that should be Batagon, although I do have a versus video planned and may or may not be doing a collaboration with somebody. Jury's still out on that one, so who knows if the versus one's coming out before the Batagon one, but just stay hyped for those videos, my guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. You guys have yourselves a nice day.